Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. This is a very impromptu last minute. I think I'm filming this the day before posting it, if not the day of. Depends on that because it's Saturday. It's Saturday. Yesterday was Heartstopper Day, and so I'm just gonna sit here and talk about Heartstopper. I've watched this show twice in 24 hours. I literally stayed up until 1 a.m. and binge watched it and stayed up till like 7:30 in the morning, and then got like 4 hours of sleep, did things, and then rewatched it again. So this is just going to be my total unhinged thoughts. We're gonna have spoilers. We're gonna have spoilers 100%, as I don't think it's physically possible for me to talk about this show without spoilers. So first, I kind of tried to like block it out into thoughts, but so overall my thoughts, this is my favorite show ever. There is not a single show that comes close to this. My overall thoughts is this show is exactly what is needed. It is just this show with teens and going through their lives, and like it's just so cute. It's so cute. Accuracy. The accuracy is basically almost spot on. Yes, there's obviously some missing scenes, and there's like a missing character, for example, but it is just so good. Like, there are so many moments from the graphic novels that are in the show. Then there are also things that are added to the show to make it different, but still fit the same, like, overall heartwarming experience. Like, we have the kiss at Harry's party, which is 100% accurate. We have the little beach date. We have, this is in no particular order, and these are just things that stick up. We have, oh my god, my brain is brain farting on all the moments. There's just so many moments, like the homework scene in Charlie's bedroom, the rain kiss scene, oh my god. There's so many other moments. Those are just ones that like pop out in my brain that are like exactly out of the graphic novels. But then you also have added things, like you have the addition of like, we're seeing a bit more of Elle, Darcy, and Tara at their school and their friendship that forms, because you see their friendship form versus in the graphic novel their friendship is just already there. So you see that friendship form. You also see there's also the addition of a character named Imogen, which a lot of people hate her, and the first watch around I was like, oh my god, this bitch, she's just trying to like get in the way. But I understand why she was added as this like, she was added to almost not aid Nick's struggle with trying to figure out his sexuality, but kind of to almost be like, here, if you wanted to be that stereotypical straight person and you wanted to not have to deal with that, you could just go out with her, but that's not who you like. You like Charlie. And so Imogen is a character that I like, and she's an addition to the show. I also love how Isaac is an addition to the show. Isaac is kind of there to almost replace Aled from the graphic novels, but Alice has stated why she didn't want Aled in the show, as his whole story in Radio Silence obviously wouldn't be able to be done, and which is totally fair, like, totally fair. The acting, you would not think that this show, a lot of that people in it have never acted before. Like Joe Locke, who portrays Charlie, this was his first ever acting job, and he fucking nailed it. Everyone nailed it. Everyone is so accurate to their characters in, like, they literally almost seem like they just stepped off page and into the show, and I love that. Like, I still remember finding out the casting for Nick and Charlie, and I freaking sobbed. I had to go to work I literally had to leave for work, I think 10 minutes after that announcement, and I literally remember crying at work because of how accurate it was. It was like, they're just so perfect, and seeing them, like, and just seeing the characters on screen is amazing, because like everything fits so well with the show. Like I have zero complaints. That is how amazing it is. I've already talked about a few specific moments, but one thing that really makes me love this show is I see so many things from both Nick and Charlie that I relate to. Also in the graphic novels, obviously, but in the show, seeing Nick's struggle with coming to terms with his sexuality and like Googling like the "am I gay?" and then like him watching the video of like somebody explaining what bisexuality is, I'm like, that was me when I was like 14. As somebody who identifies as bi and struggled with that for a while, I related to that so much. I literally started crying at that, because I'm like, that was literally me, like, yeah, probably around like 14, being like all of that with just life, and I relate to that so much. One thing also I was just looking down my note with the like the acting and the characters is I genuinely also love how we have basically real life teenagers portraying teenagers. That is one thing that I love about this show. Everybody loves that, of how we actually have teenagers playing teenagers. Like, I'm trying to think of now specific moments. There are so many moments that I loved, but overall there are so many scenes that I loved. I love the opening scene. I love just all the scenes I've mentioned before. I love the scene between Tara and Darcy in, is it episode 6, I believe, when they're in the music room, they got locked in, and just that conversation was beautiful. I love how the show actually uses the term lesbian, and it is not a like derogatory thing, because a lot of shows, when there are two women that are in a relationship, they're always just like, oh yeah, we're gay. It's like, no, the Tara and Darcy are lesbians, and they use that term. That's one thing that my friend Reese pointed out to me, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, like, I can't think of any other shows that use that term and have the characters say it proudly. There probably is some, but like, I just personally haven't watched those shows. Also, me and my friend Reese were talking about how diverse this show is, and the graphic novels, but how it is so diverse. It is so amazing, and we need more shows like this that are diverse for teens. This is like one of the few that I've seen that I've loved. This is one of the few that I've seen that have had a very diverse cast, diverse characters, and that diversity hasn't been like, oh my god, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, we have Tara, who's a black lesbian. The fact that she is black is not a part of the storyline at all. A lot of the shows that I've seen that have like POC characters or POC queer characters, that seems to be a huge part of their personality, not the fact that, well, they are just a person. And I love that. Also, a random thing, a specific moment is the parallel between the kiss in episode 3, when Charlie's going on a rant of like, I shouldn't have kissed you, yada yada yada, and then Nick kisses Charlie, and then in the final episode where Nick is like, I totally understand if you don't want to date, if you want to just like yada yada yada, and then Charlie kisses him. And I love that parallel, and that was an intentional parallel, and I literally love it. I also love the entire last episode, as none of it basically is in the graphic novels besides the beach scene, really, but the whole sports day thing, and like, that was fun to watch. And also, oh my gosh, when I say I was freaking out in that last episode, when basically there's a scene where Nick is playing rugby and then he ends up running to the sidelines to Charlie, and I was like, oh my god, if they kiss, I will literally throw my laptop, because that is not how they come out to everybody. But I love how instead they were just like, okay, I'm just gonna grab your hand and drag you inside the building, and we're gonna have this conversation in the corridor. Because I would have freaked out. I literally had to pause. I was like, oh my god, no, don't kiss. Continue. Pause. Like, that's literally how it is. I paused so many times. I cried so many times. I cried as soon as the show was over. Because I was like, it's over. Also, literally, I kid you not, when I saw this on Twitter, I burst out crying. I literally burst out crying because of these photos from the photo booth scene. I saw that, and on Twitter, probably like probably maybe like a couple hours after I watched the show, I burst out crying. I was running on 4 hours of sleep in 40 hours. By the time I went to bed yesterday, I was running on 4 hours of sleep in 40 hours. I was literally, the only reason I was alive because of HEARTSTOPPER, I think. I genuinely think I would have, passed out or something if I didn't have HEARTSTOPPER to keep me alive. Because I also literally was out of town before the show came out. And then I came back and, immediately, and, stayed up all night. That is dedication. I also canceled plans to do a rewatch. That's my dedication. I feel like I'm constantly rambling, so I think I might try to wrap this up, because I can't think of any other specific little things that made me happy. There's, every little scene, the arcade kiss. I love that so much. Just overall, the bowling, the freaking how Tao was all just, protective over Charlie and was I don't know, I love that. I do feel, I'm really heartbroken of how, the whole thing with Charlie and Tao, how Tao felt very not betrayed by Charlie, but almost, because Tao had to find out about Nick and Charlie from Elle, which is kind of I could imagine that, being the only person of your friend group not to know that your friend is technically not dating at that point, but going out with another person. Is kind of, I imagine, feeling betrayed. I also love just all of the little moments between the characters, whether it be the couples of Tara and Darcy, Tao and Elle, and Nick and Charlie, but then also specific scenes of I love when Nick comes out to Tara and Darcy. He didn't have to, but he felt like he wanted to tell somebody, and he told somebody that he would not judge and that would support it. And then, oh my god, Nick coming out to his mom, which is is it the very last scene or one of the very last scenes? I wish that I could do that to my parents. But at this point, I'm not ready. I know that I don't know how they would react, but I wish I would be able to do that. And so that also kind of made me emotional of it's good that he has a supportive mother. And yeah. Another thing I love is the animations, and the way that we have the animations of the leaves and color grading and lightning, in the scene where Nick is almost trying to is debating grabbing Charlie's hand, and the way there's little lightning and the heat. I just love that so much as well. Also, oh my god, I'm just randomly thinking of scenes. At this point, it's just randomly the first scene that pops in my head. Nick punching Harry. That was, I freaking loved that. I love that so much. And then also Harry and Tao getting into a fight. That was so unexpected. I'm not complaining, but that was oh my god. Tori's little moments popping in and out of being just randomly popping in, and I think it's episode 3. No, it's episode 2. I think it's episode 2 where Nick and Charlie hug. Tori walks in after and is yeah, he's not straight. And I was yeah, we all know that. He's the only one that doesn't know it, basically. I love that. The kiss in the rain I've already talked about. That is one of my favorite moments. I love it. I don't know. Overall, this show is amazing. I've already said that. I am praying that we get a season 2. We need a season 2 because we need to be able to discuss more topics. In volume 3 of the graphic novel, which is what season 2 would be, we dive in a little bit more to Charlie's eating disorder, which it gets hinted at in season 1, and I love that, of how little things of, like, you see him skipping eating lunch, or him just being like at the movies, for example, he's like, I'm not that hungry, and like little things like that I am wanting to see more and discuss, because honestly, like, eating disorders in media aren't that common. Like, I can think of, I think, a couple of shows, maybe, but I feel like that is something that will be good to see. And then also just seeing more adorableness, the, like, whole Elle and Tao thing of how, like, you know, they like each other, but they don't think the other person likes them, kind of thing. One thing I love is how Isaac is always just reading a book. That is a mood. That is one thing that randomly just popped into my head. But now I think I'm going to actually leave this here. Let me know your thoughts on the show below. I know that I loved it. I've already mentioned that a million times. I genuinely feel like I'm about to start crying just talking about the show. Like, I cried so many times. I laughed so many times. It's so accurate. It's so amazing. I love it so much. And yeah, again, let me know your thoughts on the show in the comments below. And yeah, bye.